Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early. It's 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this is just a totally impromptu video. It's probably going to be short. It's probably not going to monetize it. But this is the reason I'm still here on this earth. I was in the middle of my workout, and I remembered what today is, what the date was. Today is July 23rd, 2022. And the 23rd of any month sticks in my head because the last day I ever used any drug was October 23rd, 2006, 15 years and 9 months ago. Since then, I have not had not a sip of beer, not one pill, not one toke, nothing. And it took a lot of hard work. There was plenty of relapses and hospitalizations before that. So I want to make a brief video here to sometimes I'm afraid I take for granted how far I've come, and I need to remember, how deep down that hole I was. I was a full-blown crackhead, heroin junkie. I could get into other video of how it started, how it progressed from this drug to that drug. Suffice it to say, for the last 10, at least the last 10 years of my addiction, my life was completely revolved around heroin, crack cocaine. It's the last thing I thought of when I went to sleep. First thing I thought of in the morning. Every cent I had went towards drugs. Every cent. Forget food, forget clothes, forget haircuts, health, none of that mattered. I would steal, lie, rob, manipulate for money. That's all I did. It's either I was thinking about how I was going to get money or where I was going to get drugs, and that's all that my life revolved around. Now, make no mistake, I am not bragging here. I'm not glamorizing. Like I said, I need to remember. This is like some reminds me of NA. I need to remember. I always need to remember. It's important that I keep in mind where I was and what I've accomplished and where I'm at now. And even more important than that is letting other people know that recovery is possible, because I had no hope at the end. I wanted to pass in my sleep. That was my goal. I lost 3 or 4 good jobs, good paying jobs. It got to the point, you see the haircut I have now, and some people might think it's, arrogance or narcissism or whatever, but to be honest, for about 10 or 15 years, I didn't get haircuts. I cut my own hair. And it looked, I'll try to put a thumbnail up, it looked ridiculous. Because I needed that $15, every cent. Like a good 10 or 15 years. I did cut my own hair, and it looked as bad as it sounded. So now I don't know what it is. Now I kind of, I'm happy to get a haircut. I don't know what the psychology behind it is. I didn't buy clothes. All my clothes had burn marks in them. I went 6-7 months through the winter in Connecticut with no heat, no electricity, no cable, no nothing. And I was still working. I hadn't gotten fired from one job yet. I got a paycheck. This is back in the 90s. I got a paycheck every week of about $600, which today would be over $1,000. But I would immediately spend that money on drugs instead of getting my heat or electricity turned on. I took an ice cold shower every single morning after not sleeping all night, being awake all night at 5 a.m. in Connecticut when it's minus 20 outside. I would turn that water on, my heart pounding from the night. How I didn't die of a heart attack, I have no idea. I did this for 6 months or more, actually. No electricity, because my whole life revolved around drugs. I made up a girlfriend. Her name was Karen. There was no Karen in my life, ever. But I would tell my family, I'm going out with Karen. I need a few bucks to go on a date with Karen. Daryl, where were you you disappeared for 2 days? Oh, I was hanging out with Karen, There was no Karen. That was one of the most shameful, loser, embarrassing things I thought of myself, when I did it. I made up a serious relationship. I could go on and on here. I was hospitalized over 13 times. It got to the point where, I truly just wanted to, there was no way. I didn't believe, I didn't believe there was any way that I'd ever be able to get clean. I lost all my teeth. rotted and cracked. Overnight, I would grind my teeth all night, and there'd be pieces of tooth in my mouth when I woke up. Every one of my 32 teeth were ground down and rotted. And it got to the point where I'm never going to be able to dig myself out of this hole. You know, I lost 3 or 4 jobs. I was getting arrested. I couldn't get hired. I was living without electricity and gas, and I couldn't stop. For the life of me, I was just burying myself in misery, and I couldn't stop. There, I got fired from one job, and I applied for another truck driving job. And I couldn't even stay clean for 3 days. Just to take the drug test. I got fired from that one too. I knew the drug test was coming to get hired, and I couldn't even do that. The severance money that I used from getting fired, every cent of it, I didn't care about the food or the rent or whatever, every cent of it in one night, I spent it all. And I had no hope. I did not believe, I just wanted to pass in my sleep. That's where I was at. That is the point of this video. Let me just make a long story short, and this is my journey. This is what worked for me. A lot of people have bad things to say about methadone or scared of methadone. And honestly, I was, and my family was for some time, but it's worked for me. That's the thing that finally worked for me, and all the counseling that went along with it. I was able to just get a glimmer. Holy cow, I could do this, and that was in early 2006, and there was plenty of relapses. You know, before it gave me the glimmer that I was able to, I might be able to pull this off. And let me remind you guys, you know, I was addicted, you know, I was an alcoholic basically, and I was a total crack and cocaine addict, pills, and methadone only works for opiates. You know, it takes away the craving and the withdrawals. And when I realized that this might be able to work, like I had this moment of sobriety, this moment of clarity, and I wanted more of it. So quitting the cocaine, the drinking, that was all up to me. Methadone didn't help with that at all. And it was hard. It was hard work. It took, I relapsed quite a few times before the final clean day, my final clean date of October 23rd, 2006. Since then, these have been the best, I swear to God, the best years of my life. I feel like the real Daryl again. I feel like the Daryl that I was meant to be, the person that I was supposed to be. It's the happiest I've ever been. My family, it took a long time, for them to trust me again, to think that, because they had lost hope too. But, I take my mom out, I see my family every other day, every week. They're happy. The thing that I didn't want to happen, I was so afraid that I would continue using and be addicted when people in my family started passing away, and I wouldn't be able to have any good, real clean time with them. That was one of my biggest fears when I was using. I've been successful. When I was using, some people lose weight. I gained weight because I wouldn't eat for 3 days, and then I would binge on junk food, just the cheapest, no nutrition food that I could find, and I would binge for 1 day, then starve for 2 days, binge, just chips, garbage, just chemicals, McDonald's on 1 day, stuff myself, and then and I was almost up to 300 pounds. I'm under 200, about 190 now. I had man boobs. My cholesterol was over 300. This is when I first got into the clinic, and they required me to get a doctor and start getting physicals and all that, and I was horrified. I pictured sludge running through my veins, and I made a point of just going for a walk, 5-10 minute walk every day, and that's turned into like a full-blown exercise addiction now. I've lost over 90 pounds, and I've kept it off for 14 years. My teeth, I had to have them all pulled out. They had to dig into my gums, cut my gums open, pull the pieces out. They had to, I remember, and I couldn't get knocked out, and I couldn't have any painkillers. They would keep giving me shots of Novocaine. I thought I was going to bend the armrests on that chair. I was in that chair for 5 hours one day and 5 hours the next day while they pulled all these teeth out. It looked like I got hit by a Mack truck. I couldn't even stand up when I got out of that chair. But I wanted this. That was one of the worst things in my life, was not being able to smile. And I knew the drugs were the reason for that. And it was, I tell myself now, if I'm facing a big challenge, I remember that, getting all those teeth ripped out of my mouth, fully awake, cutting into my jaw. They were using a file to file down the rough spots on my jawbone. They cut open the flesh, and one student, they were dental students, would hold my head while the other one grinded. You know, if I could do that, I could accomplish anything. The purpose of this video is recovery is possible. It is possible. You can stay clean. You can achieve sobriety and being clean and have a great life again. I've had 2 fantastic, real relationships, long-term, with great, beautiful, intelligent, accomplished women that I never thought I'd be able to do, because my sex drive and drugs were almost one and the same at one point. I didn't think, I lost hope with everything. You know, I wanted to just pass in my sleep, like I said. The point of this video is recovery is possible. It's not only possible, but it is these are the best years of my life. You know, I literally thank God every morning. I pray every morning. Now, I know God isn't for everybody, but the fact that I was able to pull this off, there's got to be some higher power out there somewhere. All right, recovery is possible. Have a good Saturday.